Alright, I'm back from TFNation. Suppose I better get on and do my haul video. Hey there people, it's me TFR Wilderness. Welcome to our channel and welcome to the TFNation 2023 haul. I suppose I ought to sit down and do this haul video. I'm filming this on the Wednesday after the event. Now I've got a sizable haul as usual because I like to do that thing whereby I have a standing order where I save money for the convention by money that like a monthly standing order from my bank account that goes into another account, and that builds up over the course of the year. And then come August, just before the convention, I draw it out, add a little bit to it from my credit card or my current account, and then that gives me, you know, a sizable sum of money to take to the convention to buy all the amazing stuff that is on sale. And yeah, when I get there, I split the money down the middle. I use half of it on the Saturday and half of it on the Sunday, and it's a strategy that served me well in the years past, and it has done so again. So this year, what did I get? Well, obviously I met up with a few people while I was there. Jermaine is a friend of mine I've known for a few years. He was there, and obviously I hooked up with him a few times over the weekend. So if you're watching Jermaine, yeah, it was good to catch up with you, buddy. But he was probably the closest thing I got to a convention buddy this year. That's somebody who I sort of hung around with more than anyone else. Yeah, so that was good, even though on the Sunday before I left, he was feeling a little ill because I don't know whether it was something he ate or what. Well, apparently he was sick. So hopefully you got well, Jermaine, because when I saw you before I left, you weren't best. I think you were retiring to your room. So hopefully you got over that and you got home all right. Anyway, so pulled up on Friday. Went to get booked into my room, and also I went down to the TFNation table to get me stuff. So first thing I got was me wristbands. So you got a yellow one for the Friday, you got a pink one for the Saturday, and you got a blue one for the Sunday. But as I paid for the extra editions, I also got my early access band, and I got a band for the Club Con as well. Also, they giving away these little tickets that if you wanted to go and get some autographs from David Sobolov, you could do that. And this ticket allowed you to get up to 2 autographs from David Sobolov. I didn't, it's unused. I haven't used it because I'm not really interested in getting autographs these days. But yeah, I got one of those as well. And I also got the TFNation souvenir program, which has got, it's got your schedule in there. It's got a little write-up on all the various things. And then it's got like lists of all the panels and things that were going on throughout the event. And then it's got pages on the guests. Obviously, Susan Blue was the big guest this year. It was David Sobolov and then Jeremy Levy as well, and he was there. So yeah, got that. And something else they was giving away this year was these Royal Mail postcards of the G1 Transformers that they did recently in conjunction with those G1 stamps they did last year. So I got 1 pack of those with my souvenir program and my wristbands. And then I went to get my my merch in the form of this T-shirt. So I pre-ordered this T-shirt back in July, but I didn't add it to my list of things that I bought in July. So I added it to this month's sort of haul list. So I pre-ordered it back in July when the email went out saying that they was going up for pre-order. So I ordered myself a Tor t-shirt. It's got all the stuff on the back, as you do, and yeah, it's all right. It's just a Tor t-shirt. I like to buy the Tor t-shirts every year, so got one of those, and that was good. And I got another pack of postcards with my Tor t-shirt. So I've got 2 of these, but strangely enough, I've actually got 3 of them, because I had one of these already that I'd been given by an eBayer who I've been buying a lot of the Marvel G1 comics off lately, Susanna Carter. She gave me one of these as a gift for a job lot of comics I bought off her a couple of months ago. So I've actually got 3 sets of these Transformers postcards. So yeah, that was great. But I got them, and they were things that I bought. Now, the first thing that I did when I got back into my room, once I got all my stuff out of the car, was I did this thing that I do every year. I hacked my wristbands. Now, obviously, usually, the wristband has got, you get these toggles with these barbs in, which you slide them over these fibrous wristbands, and then it's like an anti-tamper thing. It stops you pulling it off. So yeah, you push it through, and then it won't go back. It'll only go forwards. So yeah. So what I do when I was going in to get my wristband, I was putting fingers under my wrist when they put it on, and then when I got back into the room, I hacked my toggles for my wristbands. So 2 of them, I cut the barbs off on the inside, and then I just had them on me wristbands when I had them on, and they just slide up and down. And I'll do this every year. I hack the wristbands to make them so that they're more user friendly. That's something I do every year. So I did it this year, and they was using white toggles this year, whereas they had black ones last year. But it doesn't matter, It's always good to do that. So that was my that out of the way. So yeah, so Friday got the stuff, got the t-shirt, and then it was into the bar and sort of milling about. I didn't get the opening ceremony, so it went into the evening, and then people were milling about in the bar after I'd got some food, and I went over and hung around with HotrodneyPrime and Lucan of Lucan's Tees. Lucan had bought a load of Transformers that were excess in his collection. He laid them out on the table so people could have a mess with them. And the idea was that he said they were trade fodder. If anybody wanted to trade for one of the bots that he had, then he was open to that. But he said at the end of the convention he might be willing to just sell them for a cheap price. But while I was there, Mr. Gary Churm, the Joker, he says, "Oh, I've got something for you," and he rushed back to his room, and then he came back and presented me with this thing. Now, he knows I likes my Korean figures. This is a KO of the Tobot Quatran mini figure, but it's a KO. It's got not much in the way of articulation. It's got a little bit on the arms. I mean, it's all floppy. The legs, they just do that. They don't go backwards and forwards at all. Very restricted articulation. Of course, it's a KO, so the build quality is very crap on it. And yeah, typical Gary Churm. Yeah, selling me giving me a gift of a crap bot. So yeah, cheers, Gary. I get what you're going at, but the good thing about this is I'm not really into these what are referred to as copolymer combiners in Korea, where you have a bot and basically the limbs they just transform into cars. They don't actually have robot modes of their own, so they just transform into limbs, which then plug onto the combiner. That sort of combiner I'm not really a fan of, and I haven't actually got a version of Tobot C in my collection because the original Tobot C, I wasn't a fan of the way it looked. So I now have a Tobot C of a sort. It's a KO, mini, Quatran combiner Tobot C. So that's something, I suppose, if you can look at it that way. But yeah, Gary, Mr. Churn, Mr. HotrodneyPrime, thanks for offering me this this wonderful gift. It's great, and you do realise that you've probably inadvertently given me the worst bot of the month by handing me this thing. But it was free; it didn't cost me anything. But yeah, God knows where he got it from. He obviously picked it up from a car boot sale, knowing Gary. And but yeah, so that's a knockoff of Tobot Mini Quatran, which was gifted to me by Mr. Gary Churn. So thank you for that. Yeah, and then in the bar Friday night, I was wandering around and I saw Mr. Ben Wasp Shop wandering around, and I went over him and said, "What is on, Benjamin?" as I do, and asked him if he could do me one of the fanzines. So he handed me a copy of this year's Refined Robot Company 2023 fanzine, and yeah, so it's an awesome publication as always. Basically, it's done in the style of those what they called those was it Ahmad or Energon little mini booklets that they used to do, and basically they do like they have guest writers who do a blurb on various figures that they've picked up, like Crankcase, Darkwind, and it's got some great art in it, some really cool photos, and some good write-ups. It's really, really cool, and obviously it's a bigger size this time. So I think it's supposed to be the size of the original comics or something like that. At least I think so. That was what they were getting to, and apparently it's got more pages in than last year. So a very mighty fine publication, and it's totally free because it's just a labour of love by Mr. Wastrot and all the people who contributed to put this thing together. And yeah, it's awesome. Thank you. It's really great. I've only had a little look through it, but it's got lots of pretty pictures in it, so it's really great. So I managed to get hold of one of those. So anyway, that was the Friday. So moving on to the Saturday, I got up, got showered, went and had breakfast, and then I went in, sat in the queue for the early access because obviously, where is it? Yeah, so I actually paid for early access this year, and there was a lot of other people who paid for early access because when we actually got in, the dealer hall was pretty chocker with the early access people alone, and obviously it got even more full when the general access came in. But so yeah, I got an early access ticket, and I'd watched that video that Few Adams did before the convention where he went to the Toy Foo and they did a preview of the stock for the Toy Foo stall, and there was something in that I wanted to make a play on, and it was the Unite Warriors Baldigas set. But when I went into the dealer hall, I went to the Toy Foo stall straight away, and they had that big display of all the Combiner Wars and Unite Warrior stuff on one side of their stall. And I had a look at the Baldigas set, but apparently it's quite rare, so they were asking 250 quid for it, and I thought, no, I'm not prepared to stretch to that. Though there were other people who bought it, so fair play to them if they went out and bought that, but I was a little bit too rich for me. So there was other things in that video that I'd seen that I wanted to get, and my first purchase for in the dealer hall on the Saturday morning for TFNation 2023 from Toy Foo was this. It's the Transformers Collector's Edition number 16 G1 Insecticons. So there they are. Now I decided to get this because obviously I've got the Legend Scale Insecticons, and I'm also collecting the Legacy Deluxe Insecticons, and I haven't got any of the G1 Insecticons. I mean, yeah, they have reissued one of the G1 Insecticons, but I wanted to get the set, so I thought the best way to do it is to get them in this collector's box. And they in that video they'd shown they had one, and sure enough on the stall Saturday morning they had one, so I went and bought it, and I got it. The only thing about this is when you go in, it's got these it's got the Filofax pages in there, and it's got, you know, blurb for the episodes that they were in. It's got, you know, pictures of some of the other characters that you can collect. It's got this nice poster, and then it's got a data page for Shrapnel and Bombshell, but not Kickback. Why hasn't Kickback got a data page? I don't understand that. And it doesn't look like the page has been ripped out or is missing. So that's a weird one. That I can't really explain that. But anyway, I got it. Got that. That was the first thing I bought. And then I went over to Brikabrax, because last year, if you remember, I managed to find Brikabrax had a load of Marvel G1 comics, and I intended to. Well, this was the start of me collecting the Marvel G1 comics and getting back all the comics I'd lost as a kid. And earlier this month, I completed that challenge. I got issue 2, which was the last one I needed. So mission complete. Over 12 months, I've managed to collect all the 199 comics that I had as a kid. But I'm now thinking I want to go beyond issue 199. I want to do the 200 series. Now, I remember last year, Mr. Brikabrax had a load of 200 issue comics. So I went in, found where he had a lot of comics on the front of his stall, and I had to sort through, and I managed to sort out a bunch of Marvel G1 comics. So started off with issue 77, which is one I've already got, but I needed a duplicate because my original 77's got a massive great tear through it. So I managed to get one of those. And then it's just 200 series. So yeah. So I got, what was it, 15 200 series comics. There is a duplicate in here as well for a 200 series I've already got. Yeah, this one, number 240. I have got this one already, but it's a bit tatty, so this one's in slightly better condition, so decided to get that. So yeah. Wasn't as many as I was expecting, because he had a lot more. I'm sure he had a lot more 200 issue comics last year, and he didn't have quite as many this year as I thought. But there was what was it, 15 there plus the issue 77. So managed to get hold of those. Some of them are a little worse for wear, but yeah, got another lot of Marvel G1 comics, 200 series this time. So I'm going through the process of buying all the 200 series comics, which I never had as a kid. So it's a first for me getting these 200 issues, and that's what I'm looking to go from issue 200 to 199. So that's my next challenge, is to get the 200 series comics. Then as I was going round, I noticed that GundamMad was there. They had their massive, great, stall on the end wall, full of Gunpla kits, and I realised that I need some new nippers. So I went over and said, can I buy some nippers? They gave me some options of ones to get, and this is the one I went for. So I went for the Bandai Spirits official tools entry tool set. It comes with nippers, tweezers, and a parts separator. So I bought that because I needed some new nippers, because my old nippers are getting damaged and blunt. So I want some fresh ones. So bought a pack of those. Now, next. Primetime Toys. Primetime Toys had a large store. They said that they was going to be bringing a lot of third-party products to TFNation, and they did. They had the lion's share of third-party stuff at TFNation. They had a wide variety of stuff, both Legends and Masterpiece. And I was looking over their store for some things to buy, and I noticed a couple of things. First thing I noticed was this. TransArt BMW 09 Blade Leopard Shadow. It's their Masterpiece-esque Transmetal 2 Cheetor from Season 3 of Beast Wars. He first appeared in, Cheetor, Transmetal Cheetor turned into Transmetal 2 Cheetor in that 2-part episode, Feral Scream. And it's my favourite episode of Beast Wars, Feral Scream. I love that episode so much. It's like a pseudo horror episode, but it's pretty tongue in cheek actually. But it's really, really good. And so I decided to get this. So he Transmetal 2 Cheetor, Looks amazing. I actually got this out in the room Saturday night and I had a quick go with it. Looks awesome in robot mode and in cheetah mode. And yeah, the only gripe I have with it is when you're transforming it from the robot mode. Well, no, when you're transforming it from the cheetah mode back to the robot mode, you have to swap the heads. So the robot head and the cheetah head have to swap places, and the cheetah head is quite large and bulky, and it only fits in the chest cavity in one way. And this figure doesn't come with written instructions. It's one of them ones where you have to scan the QTR code, and it takes you to a website where it shows you a transformational video or a transformational manual. So yeah, So I struggled to try and get the beast head tucked back into the chest. But apart from that, it's really, really cool. And I've got the Transmetal Megatron up on the shelf up there. You can just, where is he? There he is. He's right there. So he's up there. And so yeah, I saw this and decided to get it. So I got that, and it was their last one. So I got the last one they had, and that was Saturday morning. And then also I got with that, yeah, because they were giving away freebies. They were giving away these little Jada Toys metal figurines. So I got that with that guy. So I got G1 Megatron as a Jada Toys metal figurine as a freebie with my purchase of this thing. And then I looked across the stall and I saw something else. This thing, Deformation Toys, ACO1, Arms Iron. They're KO or fourth party variant of first edition Prime Bulkhead. So yeah, so I got that. I've been thinking about wanting to get a first edition Bulkhead. So the original one goes for a lot of money and it's quite rare, but this is another way to get it. Get the fourth party version of it. And he also came with a little Jada Toys die-cast miniature with Hot Rod. And I also was allowed to take a pic of the Doctor Wu scraplets. So he gave me a choice of which one to take out of these. So I've got the little silver one, which I'm sure Bulkhead would be absolutely thrilled, because he screams like a little girl when he's attacked by scraplets, if you remember that episode from the show. So yeah, got hold of that and got a couple of freebies with that. That was good. Then it was let me think. And I went around to G-Works, because got the guy there who's doing all the Nonnef third party add-on kits. So Mr. G-Works, and I was looking to get some parts for my Legacy Crankcase, who's up here, because even though he's a decent figure, he's the shoulder guns that come with him are a bit weedy, and obviously he's got gaps in his legs. So I ordered the set. So I got the Nonnef Productions add-on set, which gives you the shoulder cannons and it also gives you leg fillers. And then he also came with the silver parts, which fill in the hubcaps on the wheels. So I got those bits for my Legacy crankcase. So that was good. So I got hold of those. Right, where were we at now? Okay, right, so went back to Toy Fu, and I was looking on their store. I was looking for some of the other things that I'd seen on the video, but I couldn't see them. And then I was browsing around and I saw this thing and I thought, yeah, I want that. Transformers Prime First Edition Dark Optimus Prime, or Nemesis Prime. I saw this and I thought, hell yes. Now, it's loose, it's used, but it's intact and complete. It was 50 quid, but it's toy foo, so whatever you pay for it, doesn't matter. It's all going to charity, as you know. Yeah, so I got this. And because this is a loose figure, I have been messing around with it quite a lot since I got it. And I got to say, this mould is awesome, absolutely awesome. I love the transformation on this thing. I have got the RID version, but, you know, I've never had a hands-on with the first edition mould before. And this is absolutely superb. The way it transforms is awesome. This is a great figure. I really, really enjoying this figure a lot. It's really, really cool. So I got that from Toy Foo for 50 quid. A loose Prime first edition, Transformers Prime first edition, Dark Optimus Prime or Nemesis Prime. He's super awesome. Actually, he's really, really cool. Right then, so moving along, I then sort of wandered round, looked at stuff on stalls, went to see my mate James at James Loy and Maximil of Toys, had a word with him, and I was there about that time that I was stood right behind him when Arrowfire bought that Generations Metroplex for 200 quid. I was stood right behind him when he picked it up and carried it out. It was, and I thought, well, lucky guy. You know, if I'd have seen that, I'd have bought it because I'm in the market for a Generations Metroplex. But fair play to Arrowfire. He saw it, he bought it, and it was his sort of big pickup of the weekend. And all credit to him. Then I wandered around, looked at the stuff on the Kapow store. And then I went over to In Demand, and In Demand had basically the entire other back wall. On one side, they had all the racks, all the pin, all the all the pegs with all the new and current stuff, and they had tables with the big box stuff. You know, they had the Legacy Evolution Marder Optimus Prime. They had Legacy Evolution Titan Class Nemesis. They had loads of current stuff that is readily available today. So I was looking at the stuff on the pegs and on the table below and thinking, right, what's here that I could have? I mean, there's a lot of stuff on there that I've already got. There's a lot of stuff on there I've got little to no interest in. But then I found a couple of items while I was there and made a play on them. So the first thing was this, the Buzzworthy Bumblebee, Rise of the Beasts, Beast Alliance, Predacon, Scorponok and Sandspear. It's one of these sort of weaponizer packs that they were doing. So yeah, I've had a go with him. He's very, very basic. Comes with Sandspear, who turns into a sword or whatever. And then he's got the big sword from the tail. The only thing is, I mean, I know this isn't a deluxe figure. It's kind of a deluxe size figure, but it's all ball joints. It's very, very basic. I mean, it's got these big bug legs that just stick out the back, and there's not much you can do with them. He's okay. He's all right. Bit basic, but you know, I bought him because I'd like to get a version of all the characters. Well, pretty much all the characters, you know, from Rise of the Beasts, and there was a load of Scorponoks in there, even though they didn't necessarily have a speaking role. They were just minion bots that Scourge was throwing at the Maximals and the Autobots when they attacked. Yeah, so I managed to get hold of him. And then I decided to get one of these. The Legacy Evolution Nemesis Leo Prime. So it's the black version of the Leo Prime figure that they did, but it's just the Nemesis version, and I'm a sucker for a Nemesis Prime in all these different forms. So yeah, I decided to get hold of that. As you can see, a lot of the figures that I'm showing in this haul video, I haven't actually got them out and messed with them yet. There's only a few figures that I've actually got out and played with them. The rest of them are still sealed in their boxes. When I do my end of month bot haul, I will have hopefully have got everything out and had a mess with it, and then I'll be able to give you an opinion on what I feel about these individual figures. Even though I'm not going to go over the whole haul again, you know, for my end of month bot haul, because I'll just do like a quick resume of it. But anyway, this video is going to be long enough as it is. So managed to get hold of that from In Demand, and then rolled round, looked around. While I was going round, I saw that toy guy had come over from Canada, and he was walking around, and he's really big, isn't he? He's really tall. Now, I really wanted to meet him. I wanted to go up to him and say hello, and I had this plan to because in his videos he always goes pain. You know, he always says pain when he's transforming a figure and bits fall off, or he has a problem with it. He always goes pain. So he's always experiencing pain, and I wanted to go up to him and say, you're always in pain, and sort of hand him a pack of paracetamols, you know, some painkillers. Never actually got around to doing that. I saw him going round, and he had a bunch of friends with him, like an entourage of you know, friends that he'd come across with from Canada, and also lots of people going up to him and saying hello and getting selfies with him. And I didn't really see a suitable opportunity for me to get in there and have a word with him, so I missed out on that opportunity. And obviously Dr. Lockdown was across as well. He come from Australia apparently, and he lives in Australia. And fair play to these guys, you know, guy from Canada, guy from Australia, coming over to TFNation, the UK, our modest little convention, coming over here and having a good time. And I'll be looking forward to seeing what these guys' videos are like when they do their videos post convention. That toy guy's already put up a teaser on his channel for the haul that he got, and he's got quite a sizable haul. So I'm really looking forward to that video when it goes up. But yeah, so I saw him going around on the Saturday. I saw him on the Sunday as well, but I never actually got a chance to go up and you know, talk to him. But would have liked to have done that, but I never really got the chance. But that was something that I would have done had I had the opportunity, but wasn't to be. Anyway, so going around the dealer hall, went over to Kapow, was looking at the stuff they had on the stall, and I noticed they had that Mastermind Creations Ocular Max Infinity Armada Legacy. What was it called? The Armada version of their Lady Eris. So I was kind of tempted to get that, but then I noticed that they'd got the other version. So I bought this. So it's the Eris Kultor IF01A. This is the alternative version. The original version was a Planet Steel Express exclusive. It went up on their website and it sold out in moments. And it's got all the purples on it, and it looks really cool. This one hasn't got quite so much purple on it. It's got a lot of grey on the legs and on the tank mode. Doesn't look quite so good, but it's still a great mould. And I wanted to get this. Could have got the Armada version, but I decided I'd go for this version because, you know, DJD, Tarn, you know, I wanted a version of this mould because I've got the Mastermind Creations DJD figures, and this would be a good one to go with them. So I managed to get her. And she was one of the most expensive things that I bought at the convention at 120 quid. But I managed to get her from Kapow. And also at Kapow, they were doing a thing whereby certain people who bought high value items got a free mystery box. Now, apparently Kapow was handing these out to people at the convention, and I got one because I bought Lady Eris. So, and when I opened it, now I heard they said that they was going to have, you know, one bot and 2 accessories in this pack. So when I opened it up, when I got back to the room, the bot was Power the Primes Legends class Outback. Now, unfortunately, I've already got this figure, so this guy he's a duplicate, and you know, I don't really need him. But also in my bot numbering system, he's a centenary bot. He's bot 1700. So yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to do with him. I don't need him because I've already got a version of Outback. This guy is sealed. But, you know, I might be passing it on. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But I wish I'd have got a different character. I know some people are getting Cindersaur. If I'd have got Cindersaur, I would have been much happier with that. But anyway, so I got that. The other thing I got was the MP36 Masterpiece coin. Obviously, my MP36 is in there. And I haven't got a Masterpiece coin for him. So that was kind of handy. And then the other thing they were doing with these little mini die-cast Ultra Magnuses. So, oh, it's sealed. Oh well. Yeah. So, yeah, it's sort of like a die-cast Ultra Magnus figurine. So that's pretty cool. I like Ultra Magnus, so I can appreciate that. So the only things out of this mystery box that, well, the only thing out of this mystery box that isn't much use to me is this this duplicate Outback. Now I was hoping I'd see somebody else in the bar on the Saturday who'd got one of these, you know, mystery boxes from Kapow, and I'd go to them and say, like, you know, what figure did you get in your mystery box? And if they got a duplicate as well, I'll be looking to see if anybody was willing to trade. But I didn't actually see anybody else with a mystery box. So anyway, that happened. I got that. But that was nice from Kapow. They was giving away these free sort of mystery boxes. So I managed to get one of those. And then just the last couple of things for the Saturday. I didn't have much money left at this point for my Saturday budget. So I was wandering around and I went over to the Geekology and noticed a little core class figure that I kind of wanted. Yep, Studio Series, Rise of the Beast, core class Terracon Freezer. Now I have got this guy out and had a go with it. I've heard rumours that this figure's not very good, and to be honest, messing around with it in the room, it's all ball joints, and I found that from moving it around that the ball joints was getting looser and looser the more I played with it. The alt mode, I mean, it kind of forms like a mounted gun. It's got the robot mode and it's got some other kind of gun mode. So he's got a couple of different weapon modes. I mean, the reason I got this is because he's supposedly an accessory to Studio Series Rise of the Beast, leader class Scourge, and I've got Scourge, and he was my top bottom last month. So I decided to get this guy. He was what, 13 quid. So I managed to get him from Geekology, from Sven on the Geekology store. And then the last thing I bought on the Saturday, I had a couple of quid left over. Well, I had 2 quid left over from my budget, and I went back round and I noticed that Brikabrax had got a few more comics on their front, and I found another G1 comic that I didn't have, so I bought that for 2 quid, and that finished off my haul for the Saturday. So that was all that done. Then it was all Saturday events, going in the bar, going to get some food, yada yada yada, all that stuff. But don't really need to go into details. Well, apart from one thing, obviously at the convention this year, I bought along a couple of my Korean figures that I like to collect. I had my Korean purchases arrived just before the convention, so I bought them along. So I took this guy, Tobot 2023 Tobot Z. He's a really cool figure, and I was, certain points throughout the weekend, I was, in the bar, transforming this thing, and people will come over and say, "Oh, what's that?" And I'll tell them what it is. I'll educate them into what it actually is. And some people expressed an interest in this thing. Other people were like, "Oh, that's really cool, but it's not a Transformers character, so I'm not interested." The usual thing. And I wouldn't expect everybody to be into collecting these Korean figures. They are kind of difficult and expensive to collect. I do it so you don't have to. So yeah, I got that, and then I also had this guy, Metal Carbot Mega Trucker. Got him as well. He comes with his the little card and the little the armor piece that forms a shield for his robot mode. Out of these 2 figures, this guy's really, really good, and this guy's only semi good. He's only half decent. This guy lacks intermediate articulation, whereas this guy's got it. So yeah, I took these guys to TFNation. A few people showed interest in them, but yeah, so they were there with me, and I just thought I'd put that in there. So now we're on to the Sunday haul. So if you just give me a moment, I'll just get the Sunday bots out. I'll be back in a mo. Right, so back again on to the Sunday haul. So like I said, I split my budget in half. So half of it goes on the Saturday, half of it goes on the Sunday. So I started off the Sunday morning with a fresh budget, raring to go and buy some more figures. Now, on the Saturday afternoon before the close of trading in the dealer hall, I did have a flick round to see, case the joint for a few targets that I was going to buy on Sunday morning, and so was the case. Starting off with, went over to see my mate James on Maximil of Toyz, because he's a good mate and I've bought stuff from him in the past. Obviously, in the past I've bought stuff off him, and he's given me like a mate's rate discount where he knocks like 5 or 10 quid off. And last year he wasn't able to give me a discount, but he gave me a free what was it, Kingdom T-Rex. He just gave me one, and yeah, so he did that for me. This year, obviously, he had a lot of stuff on his stall that he was selling on behalf of other people, and he had to sell them at the given price. So I wasn't bothered about that, to be honest. And there was one figure on his, because he had that wall of Detolf glass cases, and on display in the Detolf was a figure that I could have bought brand new off the Primetime Toys table, because they had them over there, but for slightly more money. And but I saw it on with James, and of course I want to buy at least something from James throughout the weekend, and this was the item I chose. This thing, Deformation Space Recording Alliance, and yeah, he comes with one cassette. It's a Masterpiece Blaster. I like the look of it. It looks really good. From what I understand, it's a really good, sort of version of the figure. It's giving the Fans Toys one a run for its money, and obviously and the X-Transbots one as well. But yeah, so decided to get him, and he was just under 80 quid, because it's a used one, but it was on display, but it's got all its accessories. It's all there. Doesn't seem to have been messed with too much. So yeah, got hold of him off my mate James off Maximil of Toys. Then I went over to In Demand, because there was a few things on the In Demand store that I'd seen on the Saturday afternoon, and there was one figure in particular that I wanted to get, even though it was kind of expensive. And it was this thing. Takara Legends LG18 Armada Starscream Super Mode, or Armada Thundercracker. Yeah. 50 quid they were asking for this, which is a lot of money for a deluxe, but when you look at the prices this thing goes for on eBay from the Japanese sellers, 50 quid isn't so bad. And I had a lot of money available, and I had a fresh budget going into the Sunday, and I thought, sod it, I want to get it. I haven't got a version of this I haven't got a version of this mold, this sort of like mini sort of Generations Armada Starscream mold. So I wanted to get this one. It's expensive, but it's because it's a Legends exclusive. It's still all right, and yeah, it's Super Mode Super Mode Starscream, not Thundercracker, but to me it's Thundercracker. But anyway, he's in Thundercracker colours, and I've got the original one, so wanted to get this Generation Deluxe version, so managed to get hold of that from In Demand. Then I was looking at these recent Transformers 86 movie reissues of the G1 figures that they're doing recently, and so I decided to get the movie reissue Thundercracker, and yeah, so I got him. Now I've got a G1 Thundercracker down there in my Thundercracker creche down there, but this one is in toon accurate colours. Not that I care for toon accuracy colours. I'm more toy colours than toon colours. But it's just a chance to get a brand new G1 Thundercracker, and it has a few minor improvements they've made to it for the sake of the reissue. So I decided to get it, and so I got that from In Demand. And while I was there, I got the Hound reissue as well. So again, I've got an original G1 Hound. It's one I got at was it TFNation in 2019? It's a beta. It's in really bad condition. It's not great. It hasn't got all its accessories. The stickers have been poorly applied. It's got lots of chrome wear on it, loose joints, yada yada yada. But again, a chance to get a brand new one. And yes, it's in toon colours, but I don't mind the toon colours on this quite as much as I do on Thundercracker. But yeah, he looks kind of cool. So I decided to get hold of him. The reissue G1 Hound for the Transformers the movie 86 reissues. Right, so then obviously I went back to Primetime Toys, because there was something I'd seen on Primetime Toys on the Saturday afternoon, and I thought, yeah, I wouldn't mind getting one of those. So I went back over, and sure enough, they still had a few left. So I managed to get one. Mod Fans AL01 Ruler. Their third-party Masterpiece-esque roller. Yeah. I'd seen videos of this thing when it got released recently. It looks really cool. It's a pretty cool-looking robot. I don't want it because it's a Masterpiece roller. I don't need it for that reason. I just thought it's a cool looking bot in itself, and it's a new third party company that's come out of nowhere that's brought this thing out. The quality looked decent on it. I think I had a hands on with the mould on the Saturday, and I was quite impressed with it. The build quality and the weight on it. So I decided to get it. So yeah, they had some left over on the Sunday, so I managed to get hold of one of those. The Mod Fans AL01 Ruler. And Impulse Buy time. Something else on the Primetime Toys table. Now, I hadn't intended to buy this thing, and price wise it was the same price as this Scout, 120 quid. But for the size of the thing and the features that it's got, and I was thinking about getting it anyway, but they had it there, the last one, for 120 quid, and I said, sod it, I'm having it. And this is something that I think that toy guy would have bought if he'd have seen it as well, because he's been collecting his Armada Megatrons. Fans Hobby MB17 Meg-Tyranno. Their Masterpiece Armada Megatron. Oh, wow. I mean... Oh, yeah. My G1 boy is here. And I love this thing. Obviously, his Star Sabers just fell off. Because it does that. There you go. So I've got the original one, and I picked this up at a car boot sale for a couple of quid, and it was missing the antlers, so I made some aftermarket antlers for it. Then I bought some Minicons for him. I bought him Leader 1, and I got him the Star Saber. And yeah, he's a brick, but he's a really cool figure, and it was my first sort of like big Megatron figure that I got when I got into collecting Transformers as an adult. And obviously I recently got the Legacy Evolution one, and that's a really good figure. Hasn't got the gimmicks of the original toy really, but it has got all the articulation you'd expect from a modern toy. This thing, however, has got all the gimmicks and a few more besides, I think. And it's got all the articulation as well, so it's the best of both worlds. And it's big. And it's heavy, and it's all that stuff. And Yeah. Impulse buy. I didn't really want to buy this thing, but I've been sort of thinking I might want to get one, and they had one on their stall for 120 quid, and it was like, yeah, all right, you've twisted my arm. And yeah, it was the last one that they had as well. So yeah, Greg and the guys on Primetime Toys, thanks. I bought a few bits off you guys over the course of the weekend. I mean, I got this guy, and I got that guy, and I also got him and him. So yeah, I did quite well out at Primetime Toys. I got the bulk of my third party purchases from them, and this just capped it off. So yeah, Fans Hobby MB17 Meg-Tyranno. Who'd have thought that I'd be able to get one of these at the convention? But yeah, managed to get him, and he's a splendid addition to the collection. So with that out of the way, we're just on to the last couple of bits now. Then I milled around. I was looking on the toy food table, looking at the loose spots on the front, looking through the because they had them arranged depending on toy brand. You know, they had like studios. Well, they had their movie figures, and they had G1 figures. Then they had like Transformers Prime and animated, and Unicron Trilogy, War for Cybertron. You know, all that stuff. And yeah, so I was looking around, and I saw a figure, and I thought, and I know this figure gets a bad rap for being a shell former, but it's a character that I really like from the show that it comes from. Transformers Cybertron, or Galaxy Force Thunderblast. Now, I know she's got a different name in the Galaxy Force. I can't. Is she called Elita 1 or something like that? But anyway, so yeah, got Cyber Planet Key gimmick. Hasn't got the missile, but doesn't matter. Yeah, so she's a shell former, and if you open the boat hull, there she is inside. So yeah, she's notorious. She's got a lot of kibble in robot mode. Got a lot of kibble in robot mode. You know, she's a rabid, shell former. She's down as a bad bot by a lot of people's thing, but I like her character though. She's a really fun character in the show, of the Cybertron show, and that's why I wanted to get it. So she's a fembot at the end of the day, and she's a character that I like. And no matter how bad the toy is, I was still planning on buying it at some point. So yeah, so I got Transformers Cybertron Thunderblast from Toy Foo, and then went around again looking on various stalls, and went over to the RoboSen table, and they got that RoboSen Grimlock out doing its thing, transforming and then walking around doing all the actions, and it was pretty cool. I didn't see much of it on the Saturday because a lot of the time it was either they hadn't got it on display or it was on charge in the back, because I mean obviously they were really putting it through its paces on the display, and they kept running the battery down. They kept having to charge it up. So yeah, but I got some video clips and photos of it. I took quite a few photos and video clips at this convention in comparison to conventions I've been to before. But I don't know whether I'm going to put them together in a separate, sort of video. If you want me to do that, then I can do that. But anyway, that was something that happened. Then I went round to Kapow, had a look on Kapow, see if they got any other things, and there was a figure on there that I decided to get. The Buzzworthy Bumblebee Studio Series 102 Rise of the Beasts Voyager Optimus Prime. Now, this figure is very much, bot of the moment, especially for American collectors, because I watched a couple of YouTube videos last week where there was toy hunters in America who were scouring the Walmarts and whatever for this figure, And there was one guy in particular, I can't remember his name. When he found it, he went absolutely apeshit. He went cock a hoop, that he managed to pick it up. But there's two versions of the figure. There's this one, the Buzzworthy Bumblebee one, and then there's the mainline figure. The mainline figure is kind of small, and it's got a lot of grey on it. And I think this one is, the slightly better version, even though I think it's largely based on the original Bumblebee movie mould, which I've got. So yeah, it's very, very similar. But anyway, so I decided to get him. I think this is a remold of that, the Bumblebee movie one. But like I said, I'm wanting to get a range of the Rise of the Beast characters, and this is going to be my Optimus Prime. So managed to get hold of that. Then went back over to In Demand, and there wasn't a lot left on that, where the racks were and the tables. A lot of the stuff had already gone. There was slim pickings for those people who still wanted to get their fill. But I was looking on the shelf, looking at the stuff and thinking, well, do I really need this, that and the other? And then I looked on the table, and there was a multi-pack that I'd seen on the Saturday where there was more of them, and now there was only one left. And I thought, you know what, I could go for that. So I got the last one. Legacy Evolution versus Insecticon Cascade and Senate Guard Autobot Javelin. So yeah, I managed to get this pack. They look alright. Particularly like the look of Javelin. Javelin looks really cool in that sort of Bumblebee movie deluxe RC mould. Cascade not so much, but they're in some really cool colours, and it's a decent 2-pack. In Demand were doing it. I got the last one that they had on the Sunday, so yeah, managed to get hold of that. And then I had to go back to the room because it was getting time to check out of the hotel room, so I started ferrying stuff back to the car, and also that I'd taken my small carry bag out with me, and it was full to the brim, so I had to go and empty that anyway. So when I came back down, I saw a bit on the Space Bridge stall that looked quite interesting, and I only had about 40 quid left towards the end. So after I'd unloaded my bag and took my stuff down to the car and checked out of my room, went back into the hall, went over to Space Bridge and bought this guy. Transformers Universe Special Edition SE02 Deluxe Class Megatron. So it's the Universe Deluxe Megatron, but in G1 colours. So I think this looks kind of cool. I actually got it out and had a mess with it last night, and it's a very simple mould, very easy to transform. It's got a gimmick on one of the arms. It's got like a ratchet spinny gimmick on one of the arms. But it's a decent figure, and it looks pretty cool, and I decided to buy that. So I got that from Space Bridge, which was pretty cool. And then I only had 10 quid left, and I thought, what can I buy for 10 quid? And I went over to the Toy Foo stall. I was looking on Toy Foo and couldn't really see much. I mean, there was a figure that I wanted to get, which was Cybertron Swindle, but the few places there was somebody who had a box one, and then Toy Foo had a loose one complete on their store, but they were asking 15 quid for it, so I didn't quite have enough money left to buy that. I would have bought it had I had enough money. So I was looking around, looking on the store, and then I saw something. I thought, ooh, that looks kind of cool. And it's this. Now it's like a scout class or scout sized strong arm from Robots in Disguise, or RID, sort of 2015, 2016. But it wasn't until I bought this thing, went back to the bar and went to see Dean and Jermaine. And Jermaine, like I said, he was a bit he was feeling ill. He had been sick, and he retired to his room. Anyway, I did some research into this thing, and in researching it, I found out what it was. Now, I knew it was one of those, what they call Decepticon Hunter figures, where they you get like a smaller version of the figure, but it comes with like a minicon, like a transparent plastic minicon and a load of armour pieces you can plug on the figure. That's what this one is, because it's got the pegging ports where you can plug on the armour pieces. But this is a Takara version. It's the Takara Adventure TAV-52. I looked it up. I got the image. Hang on. Screenshots. Yeah, it's that thing. So it's Transformers Adventure Prime of Micron TAV-52 Sawtooth and Strong Arm Torrent armor. So it's supposed to come with a minicon. It's supposed to come with a minicon, but the minicon's missing. But it's just the basic figure. But this thing's amazing. It's got all the paint apps. I mean, like the grill of the truck mode has got all the paint apps on it. It's got all the paint apps on the chest and on the head. It's got the paint apps on the bumper and the lights. Simple transformation. It's decently posable. It's got a lot of ball joints going on. And it looks more like the character of Strong Arm than the Warrior class figure. And it actually probably looks more like her character than this new Legacy Evolution one that's coming out. So yeah, it's a really neat little figure. It could do with a waist joint and some thigh swivels, but apart from that, it's a really cool figure. And yeah, it looks amazing in both modes. And I'm really, it's one of the best things I bought all weekend, believe it or not. I mean, especially when I found out that it was a Takara, you know, sort of a Takara exclusive version of the figure, and the fact that it's got all the paint apps and stuff going on it, then that made sense. I mean, the Hasbro version of this is just white and blue. It just looks rubbish. But this version looks amazing. I absolutely love this thing. It's so cool. And that was the last thing I bought at the convention. So there you go. There's my haul for TFNation 2024. As you can see, I got a lot of stuff. Got quite a few third-party bits. Got a lot of official stuff. Did really well this year. So, yep. So I'll start saving up for next year. Yeah, like I said, obviously that toy guy and Dr. Lockdown came over to the convention. It was great to see them there, even though I never actually got a chance to go over and introduce myself to them and have a chat with them and get a selfie with them. But yeah, it was great to see them here. I would very much like to go to TFCon Toronto maybe next year. I've been thinking about going to TFCon Toronto. Maybe next year I might be able to go. I've got to get my passport sorted out because my passport lapsed years ago, so I've got to get that all sorted out first before I can think about going over to Canada. But yeah, I've got plans to go to TFCon Toronto next year. But with that said, that's been me, TFR Wilderness. Hopefully you've enjoyed this haul. Obviously I'll be doing my end of month bot haul, but I won't be going through this haul in any detail because, you know, that I don't know how long this video is going to be. You know, this video is probably going to be over an hour. So that's been me, TFR Wilderness. Hopefully you've enjoyed this haul, and I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da.